So it's no secret that our core muscles are stronger than our smaller muscles, such as our biceps, no matter how big your biceps may be. So that being the case, it makes perfect sense that if you want to paddle longer and stronger, we should probably spend time and focus on how to actually engage and use those core muscles versus those smaller ones. But before we dive into focusing on how to actually engage those core muscles, you need to first go back to focusing on how to have proper form and proper posture on a paddleboard, as those will set us up for better success on engaging those core muscles. So to start things off, we want to make sure we have a solid base to work from. And that simply involves standing with relaxed legs, our chest is up, and our eyes are looking forward at all times. This simply ensures that we have a solid base to work from at all times during our paddle stroke and as we're engaging our core muscles. From here, we simply want to set up for a paddle stroke now, which involves you having your bottom arm reaching out straight in front of you, allowing you to have the farthest reach you can with your paddle. Then your top arm is often reaching over the top of your head, allowing you to enter the water vertically with your paddle blade. A good measure thing to kind of think about is a large steering wheel in front of you. So as you're kind of turning that wheel, your top arm reaches over the top of that steering wheel, the same way it reaches over the top of your head to allow you to have that paddle more vertically in the water. But once again, during this whole process, make sure your legs are continually relaxed, your chest is still up and forward, and your eyes are also looking forward as well. Now from here is where we're going to talk a little bit more how to engage your core muscles, your hip muscles, and your leg muscles as well. So you'll notice as well as I'm going to reach my paddle forward and bearing it vertically in the water, that my hips actually kind of shift a little bit to the left-hand side as I paddle on my right-hand side. This simply allows me to have a better position to engage my core muscles, my hip muscles, and my leg muscles to all work together to pull myself to that paddle. If I'm standing with my hips to the center or to the right-hand side as I paddle on my right-hand side, it's going to be very awkward to engage those core muscles and not feel naturally as you're paddling along. At the same time, you don't want to be super dramatic about it either, because you'll also be setting yourself up for bad form as well. It's simply a subtle shift to the left-hand side as you paddle on your right-hand side in order to set yourself up for better success. As we're on this topic of hip muscles as well, you can probably notice that they're a very vital role in connecting your core muscles and your leg muscles together. So it's really important to spend time focusing on engaging your hip muscles, which will engage everything else together to pull yourself as one unit to that paddle blade every single time. So we got our paddle buried now. All right, my hips are shifted a little bit to my left-hand side. I'm now ready to engage all my core muscles and leg muscles and even hip muscles together to pull myself to that paddle blade. So instead of using my bicep muscles, which are smaller muscles, to pull myself to that paddle blade every time, I rather want to focus on those core muscles to pull myself to that paddle blade every single time. Now obviously, since I'm on shore, it's a little bit harder to demonstrate, but you can imagine as you're in the water, bearing that paddle blade, engaging your hips to engage your core and leg muscles together, that you'll notice my arms are not really bending a whole lot because I'm not really focused on using those arm muscles, rather those core muscles. So as I pull myself to that paddle blade, you'll notice that I'm really focusing on engaging those muscles. So grab that water, pull yourself to the paddle blade, every single stroke. This is really hard to demonstrate on shore. So with each paddle stroke, you actually notice how you're loading and unloading those hip muscles every single time to engage those core and leg muscles together. And as you're doing this process, you don't want to be bouncing up and down through your legs because you'll simply just waste more energy and more leg muscle energy as you're doing that. So rather using those core muscles to pull yourself to that paddle blade, then as you're ready to unload and reload again, you're using those same muscles to bring your paddle up out of the water so slightly, forward to the front of your board again, rebearing the blade, and doing the whole process once again, pulling yourself with those core muscles to your blade, exiting the water, pulling up ever so slightly with those core muscles, reaching forward again, and re-engaging everything once again. Now these tips and techniques will take some time to practice, so I highly encourage you as you go for your next paddle to really focus on using those core muscles as you paddle with each paddle stroke. Make sure you have a solid base to work from, a solid paddle form as well, and making sure your hips are in the right position to engage those core muscles and those leg muscles to work together as a solid unit to pull yourself more powerfully through the water through each paddle stroke. So I really hope that you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, be sure to give this video a like. Go check out the channel for more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hasta luego, amigos.